Here we are again, dealing with the emerald tablets of Thoth, and this is part 2. Now, part 1, we just did a primer so you can understand how the consciousness of humanity is getting better educated on many different levels, or you have the ability to. And education is just one who's engaging, when you're an educator, you're engaging on bringing people out of ignorance into some form of enlightenment. So it's very important. Now, as I sit here, I'm in wonderful India, where I'm in the southern portion where you don't see snow like that. I just got back from the Himalayas, and I'm really feeling really great energetically. And if I'm feeling great energetically, that means I'm feeling great, because everything is energy. Now, let's take a little trip here. Now, here I am in the shade part, so my body feels a certain way. So now I'm just going to step right over here into the sun. And there's changes that's taking place. Of course, it's hotter. I just came under the photons of light coming from that massive energy source that we call the sun. And this is very powerful now. That is actually the ultimate energy source of this planet. Hands down. The ultimate energy source of this planet. And right now, but there's a lot taking place. Of course, I'm getting warmer just by being up under this. There's heat that's touching me. And when you deal with the laws of thermodynamics, because I keep telling you that the Breatharian knowledge is all about physics. You're dealing with quantum physics. Everybody is, whether if you realize it or not. So, as I'm getting warmer, and when you deal with the laws of thermodynamics, heat is transferred to something that is warmer. It's not the other way around. You don't see a colder object going to give heat to something that's hotter. It only goes in a certain direction. Do you get this? So right now I'm heating up because that is warmer than me, so it's heating up my body. But see, this is one thing. Now, heat is energy. We all could agree with that. But nobody actually told you that you can use this heat, because heat always transforms itself into something else. It just isn't disappearing off of me. That's not what's happening. This heat can be converted into mechanical energy, kinetic energy for me to move, and all this other stuff. Now, so that's another energy source that a person could start utilizing instead of the denser energies of the food, the carbohydrates. And look how that word is in 2 different words. Carbo, which means carbon, hydrate means water. So on that level, the human being ultimately needs carbohydrates in order to function. We got that. But now when we deal with these other energy sources, can you actually use this for your everyday life instead of just running from it and giving the credit to the plants? Now, we're in an age where there's been some great, and I've been knew this. I didn't need nobody to tell me this, because all humans have melanin. This will give us our eye color, our skin color, and all this other stuff. We got this, right? All humans, because we're all tropical creatures. And you wouldn't even be alive if you didn't have it. You also got neuromelanin all throughout your body, and even in your head, your pineal gland, the substantia nigra, and all this other stuff. And it's a harvester of light. My body, by its nature, is grabbing this light. My cells in my body, everything is using it right now. This is the realization you have to start coming into. Now, these plants practices photosynthesis. We do too. I remember when I first started teaching, man, people blasted me. And I said, boy, this job is going to be tough because there's so much ignorance. Now, they already told you get vitamin D from the sun. We got that memo. Vitamin D from the sun. That's photosynthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means the combining or the putting together. There's a chain reaction going off in my body right now. And this is free. See, a vitamin is something that an organism cannot create on its own. It has to go get it externally. So I can see why when people ask me, where do you get your vitamins and all this other stuff from? Now, technically, this is external from my body. But you could get 90% of your vitamin D externally by making contact with this light. This is very powerful. You must understand this. And a lot of people, especially in the northern hemisphere, is vitamin D deficient, which causes health problems. That's why this is a health message. You start appreciating the contact of this powerful ultimate energy source called the sun. Now, I was born in the northern hemisphere in the USA in a place called Ohio. But our bodies, as the book is telling a story. I'm heavily melanated. There's a reason why I got there. But whatever reason it is, you have to learn it didn't change the story of your body. So I had an ancestor that comes from, an immediate ancestor, that comes from a tropical place. So since I'm back in the tropical place, I'm taking advantage of this for health purposes. Because there, through the big diet, the heavy diet and all this other stuff, I could see why my health was hit. But now since I learned to lighten up, get off of that, and learn these other things I'm trying to tell you, now this is a powerful energy source that I learned to use. Are we all on the same page now? Now, let me read this real quick. The suns you read, and this is reading about the power of vitamin D. See, even my cell phone just got hot being out there. But the cell phone is shut off before I would. It did it many times. So that showed you that the technology, this is the greatest technology. Spirituality, when you really understand what it is, it's a technology. And you can really take off on that when you really understand that. Everything has meaning now. See, even we live in an age where you deal with your atheists and agnostics. A lot of them now are even appreciating the spiritual practices. They just don't want to connect it with the religion, and I can see that. Right. There's great knowledge in meditation. There's great knowledge in your food consumption. There's great knowledge in fasting. Those are knowledge when you put them together. There's great knowledge in exercising, which is focused movement to have a stronger vessel, a healthier life. And last but not least, it's powerful to have a better thought process. A lot of people's problems are self-generated due to that thought process. Now listen at this, I'm going to read about vitamin D. And this is all going to go into the emerald tablets. Yes, it is. That was written, as they say, 36,000 BC, give or take. Now, vitamin D, the sun's UV rays help your body make this nutrient, which is important for your bones and blood cells. Look, they called it a nutrient. To make the nutrient. So when you say, where you get your nutrition? The sun. When my body made contact with it, that's a nutrient. That's why in Egypt, again, they got a god called Nut, or Nut, N-U-T. They say it gave birth to Ra. It's the force behind it. Those are just similitudes. That's where they get the word nutrition from. They just didn't pull it out of the hat. Don't it start out N-U-T, blah, 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 blah. The word itself, nutrition. That's what it is. So it helps your body make the nutrition, the nutrients, which is important for your bones and your blood cells. So I just affected my bones and my blood cells. Listen at this now. Of course your blood cells, all your cells of the body. That's why they got a thing called biophoton therapy. Go look it up. That's when they take their light, photons, put it directly on the cells of the body so it can get energy. Did I say that? All right, here we go. So let me read that again. And this helps make the nutrients, which is important for your bones, your blood cells, and immune system. So even dealing with the pandemic right now, there's some doctors saying vitamin D. They're talking about the sun to help with the immune system, to strengthen it, to keep you from, or what help you at least, to have a stronger vessel so you won't get sick. It all goes together. So you get a stronger immune system dealing with the sun. And it also helps you to take in and use certain minerals like calcium and phosphorus. It helps you take in certain minerals. People say, where you get your vitamins and minerals? The sun. Oh man, come on, let's get deeper now. But when we hear vitamin D, okay, vitamin D, and act like it don't cover the other, it's not really doing that much. This means a lot. So vitamin D has many roles in the body and essential for optimal health. See, the Breatharian message is an optimal health message. We're not playing. If you're talking physical immortality, you need a strong vessel. That's why people look at me sometimes. They say your body looks good, but we thought we was expecting something else. You understand? You know, somebody falling down looking, what they call that word, anorexic and all of that. This is optimal health. When you start lightening up your diet and food freedom, that's a byproduct of being healthy. And everybody that come to me can make improvements on their health. But you got to understand these basics, these fundamental basics to start utilizing that ultimate energy source. Now, going back to Dr. Salas before I read more, who's from South America, I hope I said his name right. They did do some studies on melanin. And he said the melanin molecule is just as powerful as the chlorophyll molecule of a plant. More powerful, so it can actually convert chemical energy into water and water into chemical energy. This melanin is covering my skin, does that. Somebody just got to make you aware of it. Oh man, we're going to get deeper. The research is out there. Now, and you know what? The thing about it, I'm trying to tell you the research is out there. Nobody didn't need to tell me this. I remember on my journey, I had a summer where I decided to eat all fruits. All fruits. And it was one of the hottest summers around, like 90 degrees and all this other stuff. But I noticed that my body was functioning differently than it have ever done before. Because water attracts light to it. So I was eating a lot of melons and grapes and stuff like that. And I was out in the sun, and I could take it a lot longer, and it was better, and I was breathing better. My cells was better. My eyes cleared up. My skin looked better. So I didn't have to go have somebody else give me some research to look that up. You are the scientist. You got to start weighing it. Oh man, this is good, ain't it? That's an energy source. Now let's get deeper. Vitamin D has many roles in the body, many roles. So when they say vitamin D, well, that's the only thing. What about the other vitamins? You got to sit up here and deal with people. Many roles in the body. Those things I told you should cover the whole spectrum right there. Your blood cells, your bones, your whole immune system. But let's get even deeper. Vitamin D has many roles in the body as an essential for optimal health. For example, it instructs the cells in your gut to absorb calcium and phosphorus. So the sun is information, because it just, due to that chain reaction, it's going to inform, basically tell it to do. The phosphorus and calcium that's in your gut. And we got things now when they say your neurons, for instance. You got a lot of neurons that's in your heart and also in your gut area. I got to give a lesson on that because people don't understand what they're talking about. But this is an information highway, this whole body. As soon as I made that reaction, it informed my gut to do something else. So now, the cells in your gut to absorb calcium and phosphorus, two minerals that are essential for maintaining strong and healthy bones: calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur. Now, the elements in our bodies, like sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, have specific electrical charges. And almost all of your cells can use these charged elements called ions to generate electricity. So it's a charged particle, but once it goes into movement, once it goes into flow, that's what we call electricity. So in the first video, we had to learn you do got electricity going up and down your spinal cord. And all the cells in your body do conduct electricity. And when you deal with the sun, that energy source, that would even what? Not only get the electrical signals going at a higher for optimal health, the electrical forces have the power to generate the chemical forces. And the chemical forces have their own energy to influence the electrical forces. That's where they come with alchemy. El means electricity. Chem means chemical. And all you got to do is deal with that. Oh, man. So I get pumped up because I get happy for talking this stuff. Oh, man. Oh, man. I got to say this for another one. Oh, man, I got to say that for another one. That'll be too much. I don't want to give you too much information. Now let's get into the emerald tablets. This has everything to do with it. Because in ancient times, we had things where you had a lot of all over the planet, and they called it sun worship. But we looked at it as being pagan, and no, it wasn't. And I could see why they cut these parts out of history. There's even a campaign, especially in America, that just tell you the sun is bad. The sun is bad. Stay out of the sun. And like I said, when I start changing my diet and lighten it up, the sun had a different reaction on my body. Of course, if you overweight and all this other stuff and keep eating over and over again, heavy foods, fasting is powerful. You don't need to overdo it, but you're giving the body a break. Let's look at high blood pressure is. Just your veins and your arteries got blood flowing through them. And if you keep eating over and over again, those fat deposits is making it squeeze in. You're not just trying to explain it at an elementary level. So the blood start getting more restricted. You don't need to catch high blood pressure. Well, it runs in the family. Well, of course, nobody's running. Oh, man. So now let's read the emerald tablets of Thoth. Truly without deceit, certain and most veritable. That which is below corresponds to that which is above. You are the macrocosm of the macrocosm. Everybody is. And another thing about that sun just now is daytime. So the hormone serotonin is coming from my pineal gland. I didn't have to think about it. It already did it. The body is mostly in light and dark cycles. And when that sun leaves to go on the other side of the planet, it ain't like it disappeared. The moon is just a testimony on its phases to show you it's still around. It's just on the other side somewhere, and somebody else is experiencing daytime while you in the night. But then this same pineal gland is going to let off melatonin. That did it. And the body didn't need to ask us either. It's going to do it automatically. Oh, man. So now, that which is below corresponds to that which is above. So that's my power. That's my light source, just like Superman. Superman's strength came from the sun of this world. Oh, man. I just got high just thinking about that. So, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing, and just as all things have come from this one thing, through the meditation of one mind. Now let's look at that word mind. Your brain cannot do nothing on its own. Your brain is a device, but it's a powerful device. But it's the energy of the mind that's going through the brain. There's nothing between your head. You go to a funeral, the brain and the body is laying there. So that's why when you deal with the Breatharian message, I keep telling you, you got to listen to me. It's a holistic lifestyle, mind-body connection. And when I say the body, I'm talking about the cells of the body. Didn't we just bring up the cells feeding off of that just now? We got to make it make sense. Other than that, you're going to be beaten in the wind. So now, but he brought up the meditation of the one mind. That fuel source is affecting all life on the planet. Now, when it leaves the body, it don't need you as an individual no more. It's your body. That's what we call ego that gave you your individual personality. So when a dog is standing next to me, he's using the same energy source. His cells of the body doing the same thing. But we're just different creations. So that's why he has a dog consciousness, because the energy that's going through his body is in a dog body. The energy that's coming through me is the body of a man, a human. And when that energy leaves, that's what we call death. That's why they said, and I read this in the Ascension Manual, and it makes sense. It said a person dies when they lose the will to live. They lose the will to live. And there was this doctor said, oh, I love it. And she was talking about the evolution just from the 80s of neuroscience. They was thinking one way, everything got upgraded. The 80s, that was 40 years ago, just 40 years ago, but they're talking totally different than they did back in the 80s. So when I talk to somebody from that era, sometimes I got to say, you got to get caught up on what people talking about. This is a whole nother level we at right now. So anyway, going back to this mind, this is what she said. She said, people are dying because of despair and a loss of hope. It's a mental thing. The body didn't have to leave the body. She even got into the telomeres. When you're healthy, the telomeres is longer. That's what they're dealing with, physical immortality or longevity research. Bruce Lipton talks about that, the telomeres in the body. When you get unhealthy, they start getting shorter. Oh, man. Now listen at this. Through the one mind, so there's only one consciousness. There's really not no other consciousness. That's why when you start growing on this path, you start going more into the unity consciousness. Everybody is me. My source is the energy. I am the sun, animating this body. That's what they were trying to tell you, a man's higher consciousness. You're basically animating your body. That's where the word avatar comes from. It's a god animating a vessel. Oh man, we got to look at this. So let's get into the immortality. So it's telling you the one mind. So do all created things originate from this one thing through transformation? All things originate from that one thing through transformation. And I was trying to tell you, transformation is serious. You want to transform or evolve, you got to do things differently than you was doing before. It's not automatic. There's many creatures who was once on this planet as a species, and they're no longer with us. Universe don't care. It's for us to figure it out to evolve. If I would have kept that lifestyle over 20 years ago, there's no doubt in my mind, I would either be dead or I would have had some major operation taking place, or I'd be on medication right now. See, your past, you can connect the dots. Your future, you don't know, but what you do now, you can influence your future. You can take part in your destiny. Now let's keep reading. Oh, here we go. Listen at this, the Emerald Tablets. Its father is the sun, and its mother is the moon. So remember I told you about the serotonin and the melatonin? It's in day and light reactions, and even your body is. Oh, man. And the wind carries it in its belly, and its nurse is the earth. The wind carries it in your belly. Remember we were just saying, just by going in the sun, it will absorb calcium and phosphorus in your gut. Somebody was talking this 36,000 BC. Figured it out. And its nurse is the earth. Listen at that. Your earth in esoteric is your body. The physical body, the skin, the bones. This is the earth. But you need to connect with the macrocosm and start taking it more seriously. Oh, and its origin of all, the consecration of the universe. That's why they say, know thyself, you'll know God. Know thyself, you'll know the universe. You come from this, you was born into it. You're already in the web, the matrix. Oh man, you're never alone. This energy that's animating you is animating everything else. And they said it's the consecration of the universe. See, even if you're sick or how you're functioning now, your body's already consecrated. It don't think it's doing nothing wrong because you're the creator or the driver of this bio machine. It's just carrying out your orders. That's how you want to function. Oh man, that's why in the Hermetic text, Hermes was basically saying, or Thoth, that the human being could transform itself into a god, one with everything. It's a mind. So now, let's go deeper with it. Its inherent strength is perfected if it is turned into the earth. So this energies is perfected when it's turned into the earth, your body, when you start understanding, when you start becoming one with the forces. That's what Taoism is talking about, connecting with the all. The macrocosm connected with the macrocosm. It always been here. Knowledge is right in plain sight. It always been here, just that most people either don't believe it or don't understand it. Now, separate the earth from fire, the subtle from the gross, gently and with great ingenuity. So when we deal with meditation and the energetic practices, this is what we mean by raising your vibration. See, everything vibrates, even your physical body. And you can raise the vibration of the body. Let's don't make it hard, through a cleaner lifestyle. The molecules start moving a lot faster. That's what we mean by raising your frequency. And how do you know that your vibration is raised? I'm going to tell you. You will feel lighter in your physical, emotional, and mental body. And you will experience, because there's an experience that comes along with it, happiness, joy, love, and peace. That's what you will experience. That's why there's no way in the world you can have a negative person live in a high vibration. It don't work like that. When you raise the vibration, why is that? Why would that experience come? Because that just shows you right there the mind-body connection. If the body's sick, the mind got problems. They're one and the same. But when you start cleaning up the vessel and everything is going smoothly, that's what they mean by spirituality is the expansion of consciousness. How do you expand your consciousness? Through the body. And then you start, everything that's in your sight is you. You got to work at it. There ain't no enemy. How could it be? When you come into this thought. Now, it rises from earth to heaven and ascends again to the earth, thereby combining itself within itself the powers of both the above and below. I'm going to translate that for you. What they're saying is how your electromagnetic field works on the body. There was a time we called it an aura. Then people start talking about the Holy Spirit. But now we're in an age that the sciences today is saying you have an electromagnetic field rotating around your body. Electro means electricity, and electricity produces a magnetic field, and a magnetic field produces electricity. So everybody has this field. So now it's your responsibility to keep your electromagnetic field at a certain level. That's what health is. Now, what is your electrical field? It's your mind. Because if the electrical field leaves, the mind left. And that's what we call death. So that's why they say it's the expansion of consciousness. So they're saying how it goes. It rises from the earth, the body, to heaven, which is your mind, a high state of consciousness. And it descends again to the earth, therefore combining within itself the powers of both above and below. So when you free up and you grow your energy field and stop blocking it up through certain habits, certain lifestyles, you become a conductor of energy to a superconductor. Oh man, here we go now. Thus will you obtain the glory of the whole universe. Your mind will open up. That's something when you can see in your reality, everything is you. That's when your mind opens up. That's why everywhere I go, I have a good time. Because that's the way I think. But it took work to think like that, because it's easy to look at us against them and all this other stuff, but it's all your mind, all your creation. Nobody could come against that. That's why in the Kabbalah, they tell you one of their main meditations is, there's no one else besides him. There's only one source. The only thing that exists is the creature and the creator. But the creature has to make the changes. The creator is not. It don't have to. It's already perfect. So the creature has to figure out to make the changes, to transform, to get back with the bigger picture. Oh man. So you will obtain the glory of the whole universe, and all obscurity will be clear to you. This is the greatest force of all powers, because it overcomes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. It's the greatest force. That's what they say. When you can start combining yourself with these bigger forces that you have access to, nobody on this planet can keep you from it. You're born into it. Now I can see why this was cut out of history. And keep in mind, this is Kemetic knowledge. What's his name? Pythagoras from Greece, when he went to Egypt, he had to fast for 40 days so he could comprehend what they was trying to transmit to him. I can see why they cut this out, trying to blame it on aliens. This ain't got nothing to do with no aliens. You can do this. And especially, we might as well say it, Egypt is the new name. It used to be Kemet. And that's northern Africa. So by me being highly melanated, I can see why I was hid from it. Because my body can't conduct a lot of that. I'm just taking advantage of it. That is my power. And hair is in tight curls. This deals with energy. This ain't bad hair. Once I figured it out, I said, uh-huh. Oh, man. It's for everybody, but I'm going to tell you what. I can conduct this good. Because I understand what I'm working with. Oh, man. Now, listen at this. In this way was the universe created. From this come many wondrous applications, because this is the pattern. That's how things work. There's a pattern going on. This is why we got physics, the laws of physics. And then we got metaphysics. That's just talking about the unseen. They just call it now quantum mechanics. We already been dealing with it. That's just another name they gave it. So I'm dealing with unseen forces. We all are. This is the pattern. Once you figure it out, that's why we say this is a holistic health message. Even by you sitting up straight, spinal cord straight, the energy start running differently. You'll have a stronger energy. You'll start getting stronger. Oh, we got to spell this out. This is the map. So now, therefore I am called thrice the greatest Hermes, having all three parts of the wisdom of the whole universe. Herein have I completely explained the operation of the sun. Completely explained the operation of the sun. Even though I'm in the shade now, I'm still breathing in the sun. That's why whenever you meditate, you feel the electromagnetic field, those of you who are more sensitive. And if you're not, you will get there if you keep dealing with it. Start coming off your skin. Then you start being able to channel it with your mind. This is the spiritual practices and the power behind it. That's why meditation is the foundation. One cannot be wise without it. And then when you combine fasting, you ain't got to overdo it. How long did you do? And all that. Stop it. Clean the vessel out so the energy can run better. Oh man, this is good. Do you combine it by really paying attention to your thoughts? I'm in India, it's voting time. And then you combine it, what I say, fasting, exercise. You're designed to move. You're designed to walk, not sit down all day. Oh man, this is good. And we ain't trying to break records. Now listen at this breaking records. Everybody knows, or you should know, Wim Hof, the Iceman. He did some fantastic things going into the coldness of water and surviving. Showed people the breathwork techniques and everything. Before he came about, people didn't know they can do that. But again, he took it there. Remember I said things always get broken once humans found out you could do it? Now me, I did it about 5 times. My record is like 2 minutes. But it's fantastic. I love it. And I can tell you some stuff about that on what it did to my mind to open me up. But anyway, there's a man now training himself to do 3 hours because he wanted to break the record. But he's training himself to do that. To do 3 hours. And I know he can do it. There's no doubt in my mind because he's taking it seriously. But he's training himself to do that. Transforming himself. Taking it seriously. But I said all that to say this. Back in World War II, there was horrible experiments going on and stuff. And I was watching this documentary because, they wanted to see how long people can stay in cold and do all this other stuff. And they said on one, they was keeping people in ice cold water, you know, for 2 hours, 3 hours. Many people died and all this other stuff. You know, terrible atrocities. But what I'm getting at now, yes, when you do those things without no preparation and somebody just throw you into that situation, it could be bad. But when you understand different techniques and transform yourself, you could do some amazing stuff. This is where I'm getting at. So that's why when we deal with the Breatharian message, stop putting tape on your mouth. Yes, you're going to starve and kill yourself. But if you properly train, you could do a lot of things. And you don't have to go all eating for, you know, sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself into. The main thing is be healthy. Raise your vibration and stay there. See, it's one thing to lose weight, but it's another thing to maintain it. Are we making sense now? But we just read the Emerald Tablets of Hermes. I told it to you. Let me read this last part again. He said, herein have I completely explained the operation of the sun. That's why they call you the children of the sun of the sun. Even Holy Biblica, they ain't talking about the Bible and Jesus like that. It's talking about, it's basically just dealing with the sun cycles on an esoteric level. Oh, man. I'm so happy. Well, of course, my vibration is high. So heed these things, and I'm going to do many more videos on the showing you where it's located at. And this is nothing more than a holistic lifestyle. Let's don't make it spooky. You're connected with these forces. You want to be lighter. You want to be lighter in the physical body. You want to be lighter in your emotional body, which is just a thought with a lot of feeling to it. Because, of course, when you're real dense, it's easy to tick you off. It's easy to get mad. It's easy to get depressed. It's easy to have anxiety. And just because you're skinny don't mean you understand you're healthy. Let's be clear. I see many people, you know, because we're dealing with genetics. Like this one person got a real nice body, don't do nothing. You know, you've seen people like that. Can eat anything and all this other stuff. You know, the genetics is good. But this is what they said. I sure wish I felt the way I look. It's what's up under the hood. So I hope you got something out of this. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the thought, telling you about the operations of the sun, which is a consciousness. That's why breath is consciousness. What are you breathing? Oxygen is just 21% of the air. You're breathing in a consciousness. Even when you clean out your body, your breath you start breathing through your abdomen. You will have more energy and all this other good stuff. But you got to put it together. Because you start breathing with your whole body and all this other stuff. You ain't got to consciously do it. You grow into it. And it becomes very powerful. That's how you expand your consciousness. There's nothing can be held back from you. Peace and blessings. I hope you got a lot out of this. This is Elitom Elamin. And one more time, let's say bye to the sun. Look at that. I'm going to the beach later on. Look at that. Taking advantage of this great adventure. Look at that. Peace and blessings. Keep up the good work.
You always on the run, what